So, and I think the same thing with what it's borderline with Borat, but I think Borat could be sued for libel. About the Giuliani case, I think a lot of the press could be sued for libel because it was misinterpreted and misrelayed what took place there.
I said that might be my next follow-up because I don't like feeling stupid, but I should not have. I feel stupid for even having relied on a detailed description of the actual scene from the film in Global News, is as reputable news as we get in Canada. It was either CBC or Global. I think it was Global because I really don't ever quote CBC. So let's work into that one now. The media depiction of that, I don't know in retrospect now if they were depicting something that they had never seen, so they're just depicting what someone else depicted, or if they had all seen the scene and depicted it in a way that would be technically correct by the purest wording of it. He did have his hands down his pants. He was in a bedroom. But describing it in a way that is so grotesquely inaccurate as opposed to what actually transpired that it would be defamatory. But
and they omitted context. The reason why they apparently screened this movie over a month ago, and nobody came out with this story. So this was solely payback to Giuliani. If people watch the documentary Plot Against the President, look at all the attacks that happened on David Nunes, look at what happens to his staff. This is what the media does to anyone that causes them political difficulty. They do personal assassination, campaign, character assassination attempts on those individuals. And anytime Giuliani has stuck his head up for Trump, there's been a personal attack, professional attack within days. They'll say he's under criminal investigation. They'll say this is happening. They'll say that's happening, whatever it is. And here you had all of a sudden a reinterpretation of that Borat component, which is already problematic. And the other thing I think the good point you made, how does Cohen, the writer director of Borat, how does he get away with this extreme ethnic prejudice that he promotes? Because the whole movie Borat is ethnic prejudice. Period.
No,
it's inexcusable.
The whole and the thing I said is in my head watching this movie, the only one espousing these, I say, exceptions aside, because they take clips and you can have a clip of, I don't even want to say the words from the first one, but really the only racist person in the entire movie is Borat, and he has to be the offensive thing in the hopes of getting some sort of affirmative reaction out of the people around him. But
look how he portray. I mean, it's one thing if he was portraying like a fictional country or something, but he's portraying the actual country of Kazakhstan. I mean, imagine if he was portraying a country in Africa, a country in Central America. The left would be up in arms because this is extreme bigotry towards a whole country. I mean, just of the most nasty kind. And yet somehow he's this champion of wokeness. Now, of course, I did enjoy the fact that he got censored when he's been one of the biggest people calling for censorship. I disagree with all forms of censorship still, even for him, but he's been such a hypocrite on it. And there's some stuff he does that's funny when he suckers people in. The Ali G stuff I thought was really good. But I never liked the Borat one because I was like, this is just playing on ethnic prejudice of a group. Almost nobody knows anybody from Kazakhstan. It's like, this is just vicious, nasty, class-riddled.
I actually know someone. I know someone personally, half Kazakh and half Eastern European. Okay, no, but I've had questions about at what point can he get in trouble for using footage that he's not entitled to use? Now, so New York does not have a false light law, a false light tort, so there's no way that Giuliani could sue Borat for false light.
You can sue in any state though, because the film is shown everywhere.
Very good point. Okay, not Borat. I'm sorry, Giuliani.
Sue Borat. He could sue Cohen for false light, and he could sue all these media people for lying, because what they did is they lied by omission. If they would have told the accurate story, a person interviewed Rudy Giuliani, the person interviewing asked him to go into a separate room, had him take off the mic, at which point he was pulling down on his pants when he took off the mic, and then Sacha Cohen came in screaming something, and Giuliani left.
Oh,
right? All of a sudden, you don't have a scandal anymore if it's honestly rendered.
Oh, and there was even more to the context than that, because I've been discussing it with family and friends, and someone said, the way he pat her on the back or on the butt. I said, well, first of all,
actually, it wasn't. It was I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, Rudy doesn't think anything's going to happen here.
No, when I saw it,
it's okay, honey, on the very sort of politely and diplomatically.
No, and exactly, and what people don't know from
Joe Biden would have handled it differently.
No comment for me, but from the context, for anybody who had watched it, you would have known that she was purportedly feeling bad because she thought she had blown the interview, and he was saying, "Don't worry about it, it's okay." The whole thing, it's just it made me feel sick.
They pretended that he knew she was 15. He knew there was no reason for him to think that. The other guy came in, Cohen came in screaming she's 15. He doesn't know what's going on.
Apparently,
fake news.
No, and apparently he called the cops after the incident when Borat came in screaming that because he didn't know what was going on. It was. I felt stupid. I feel stupid for even having thought that, oh, Giuliani just thought he was going to get lucky with a reporter. And then I see the scene. It's like, this is not what's happening at all. And I've been duped by believing that the descriptions of people who purportedly and probably did see the scene before reporting on it all said, okay, well, we're going to do it. We're going to, the damage will be done by the time people watch this for whoever watches it. And no one's going to remember in 3 weeks. And they're not.
And the best evidence of that is apparently they had all seen this in a pre-screening, a whole bunch of the media folks, a month and a half ago. So, and they didn't say anything. So in other words, they knew it didn't mean what they would later lie about. They saw Giuliani was hurting Biden, so they wanted to pay him back by misinterpreting the Borat script. And then Borat was happy to jump on it because that will promote his movie. But, you know, him doing this a second time, you know, everybody should be much more critical. I was like, how does such obvious bigotry get a green slip? Get a permission slip? This is just bigotry. Just change the name. Change it from Kazakhstan to African American. Change it to Mexican American. Change it to any other country. Well, you can probably make fun of Canadians. That's still okay.
Well, South Park would lose a lot of gags if they weren't allowed to. No, it was over the top. It was over the top. The media misrepresentation.
It's just mean. It's unnecessarily mean. It's like there's a difference between good. If you want to make fun of powerful people, like when he did Ollie G, he got Dick Thornburg, Attorney General. He got Andy Rooney, who is a racist, from interactions I had with him, the old CBS 60 Minutes guy. All of that's fair game. Don't make fun of a poor country that very few people know of that's just mean and vicious. That's just being mean and vicious because you have more power than they do. So I have zero. That's why I, if Giuliani or somebody else, I would sue Cohen just because because he doesn't deserve the credibility he's gotten. He deserves a lot more criticism. Comedy, fine. You don't need to be vicious and mean to vulnerable people and vulnerable populations.
Well, it was. What was I about to say? Instead of suing Borat, suing Sacha Baron Cohen. Okay, so like some people say, well, they've signed up for it. They sign away their rights, when they know they're going to appear in a documentary. Now, there's two things I'm thinking. They do, but they don't sign off for a camera in the bathroom while they might be doing whatever they want, thinking they have privacy. They didn't sign up for cameras. Wait, go ahead.
Fraud in the inducement. I don't know how any of those contracts are enforceable because they're lied to in order to get them to sign it. So they lied about a protest. They lied to a protest group to try to embarrass a lockdown protest group. I guarantee they lied to them. So how's that contract enforceable? So they lied to them to get them to sign it. And for folks who don't know, a contract is no good if you committed fraud to induce someone in order to sign the contract. So it's one of the underutilized torts out there because people think they can hide. Oh, I have a contract. Not if you lied to get me to sign it.
And that thing is like I know some of the I've never read the contracts, but I know that some of the inducements with Ali G, for example, I've watched all of it. I actually have it on DVD as well. He would pitch it not as an outright lie at the time. He would say the guy's going to come on. He's going to look different than what you're ordinarily used to seeing him as. He's sort of an inner city geared individual doing interviews for the inner city, and that's how he would pitch it. And then he would proceed to ask Coop, who was it, the Surgeon General, what his chances are of dying. That's legitimate humor, and that was funny. And that's
not what they did with Giuliani. And I mean, there's no one who can. The whole Kazakhstan country can't sue for his constant defamation of their entire population, but it doesn't excuse it morally. But on the legal side, when you lie and then do something to cause someone's deliberate embarrassment, and that's the goal from the get-go, and they're not some high-profile public figure who's just embarrassed by the nature of the question or something else. Then I think you're running into risky territory. And he's been sued before, by the way. They often settle many of these cases.
I would not. I would not mind if he got sued. It was the movie was bad faith. The movie. What I find the ultimate irony is he's making fun of the people. By exceptions aside, he's making fun of people who are showing him hospitality. And it's just like it's easy to make fun of people. It's easy to exploit people. It's easy to sort of like entrap them into saying something stupid. Like in the first one, getting frat boys drunk in a car and then running the footage in the movie. It's easy to do that. And I was telling someone today, capture anybody's stupidest 45 seconds to a minute, like you say, you could ruin their life and nobody would want that. But
and there's a difference between big public figures and these random people he's attacking. I see that as very, very different. If you get Trump to say something dumb on Trump, even Giuliani, if you got him saying done something dumb, fine. It's just don't create a fake story and then lie about him to the world. Where he's trying to be nice to someone who appears to be upset, where you're using his kindness against him. You know who did figure him out within 10 seconds? He got an interview with Trump.
I was just saying, I think it was Andy Rooney walked out as well very quickly. Andy Rooney? Who was it? Andy Rooney walked out of him on
Rooney kept talking. Because he brilliantly made fun of Rooney's obsessed with words and is a racist. And he kept saying, "Mr. Rooney, you're a racialist," and it drove Rooney crazy.
You're right. I remember that. Who?
So that's the good stuff. I respect the humor when it's directed at people with more power. I don't respect the humor when it's directed at people without power. And he's done too much of it, and he needs to start getting culturally and socially slapped around for it. And he just lied about. He promoted the Giuliani thing on a bogus script, on a bogus narrative. And as you've pointed out, there's problems with the editing in terms of the timing of when words are put in there. And that's a problem. And he can be sued anywhere because he's releasing a film worldwide. So I think that's relevant. But what is Trump sat down and within 5 seconds ended the interview. So Trump was like, no, you're not legit. We're out of here. So that's where Trump's instincts are unparalleled.